You guys, I swear, each time I am about to film, something has to happen. How do you like my hairpiece? It's actually Luana's. So I feel like Luana has my head. It's really small. Look, her stuff fit me. My head is really small. I know you can't tell. Everything that could go wrong so that I wouldn't film today went wrong, but here I am not going to complain. So grab a cup of coffee, sit down, let's talk. All right, I'll give you a second, go ahead. So you guys, last time, like a while ago, when I posted a video talking about my experience with Prosecco, there was a lot of comments, there was a lot of DMs, there was a lot of just like messages asking me to continue the series. I am very mindful of the kind of content I put out there. This is something that's resonating with people. They want to hear more. So just wanted to wish you a welcome back to my channel. So today I will be opening up about something that's really close to my heart. It's going to be how we navigate our age gap relationship, as well as different cultural differences. Rocco is Italian and I'm Congolese, and we have a 16 years age gap. So there was a comment from a guy from Italy, shout out to you. It was a very thoughtful comment. He was talking about fetishization. I hope I got that right. So he said how he likes women, he likes women out there, and that we should be careful to not fetishize people. And I agree with him. Most people, they carry themselves with a lot of fetishization, and they just want to be with someone based on those stereotypes that are out there, make themselves feel better, make themselves feel great. We will be talking about the differences, the cultural differences and age gap differences that personally I have noticed. So what do we mean about cultural differences? When I'm talking about cultural differences, those big things and small things that make us different. What are those big and small things? Listen, I grew up in the Congo. I spent most of my childhood in the Congo, so it influenced me and makes me who I am as a person. It kind of like dictates how I go around and how I cope with certain things and how I talk with people. And Rocco grew up in Italy, specifically in the Avellino region, so we could say he is from the southern part of Italy. They are known for being super loud, super affectionate, and so on. So when I talk about cultural differences, I'm talking about those things, right? Big and small, that make us different. So we are talking also about the languages that we speak and the food that we eat that make us different and that pepper our life throughout the year. The question remains, but Geraldine, how does that look like for you on a day-to-day basis as you live with this guy? You've been living with him. It is not easy as some people may make it sound, and every single day I can tell you it is a choice how you want to show up. It's a choice. And also to keep in mind that just because you one way of doing things or on how to navigate life, it doesn't mean that it's the right way or it's the only way. It's about being tolerant and being open-minded that other people have their own ways of doing things, and also accepting where you are. For example, we live in Boston. We don't live in Italy. We don't live in the Congo. We live in Boston. So you're adding a third culture on this circle called life that we have going on here. So there's a tendency to always refer to what we know. In the Congo, in Italy, personally, I find that the people that do this suffer a lot because they don't learn how to adapt and how to accept their new situation. And the thing is, people are always looking back, thinking things are still the same. My friends are still the same. They don't think that their friends have probably evolved. They are dreaming. I remember the first time I went back to the Congo, I had been in the US for 5 or 6 years. I decided to go back. There was a cultural shock. It was a reverse culture. I'm Congolese. I was born here, grew up here, but it was shock. it was a shock. I still went back another time. That was like the second and last time when I went back home. I just felt that my heart couldn't handle a lot of things, and personally I didn't like a lot of judgments that were being casted upon me. I was being judged the way I talked, the way I walked, the way I ate. And it's so funny because when I come here, I'm seen as someone who came from somewhere else because ta-da, you can hear my accent, right? So it's always been like that. When I go home, I don't fit in. When I'm here, I don't fit in. Who am I? But so through speaking to other people like us, these people have shared their experiences, their stories. So these are stories that are tested, that are lived, that people shared with me, and a lot of it came with a lot of similarities on how I live my life, from what I have learned from others and what I have gathered. Talk, 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 and talk some more. Talk, talk, talk. Communication, 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 communication. I will say this always. Communication is key to any relationship, to a success of any relationship. Any relationship with your child, a relationship with a partner, a relationship with your boss, a relation. I'm not saying people are not bad out there that just want to bring you down. Yes, but people who are willing to work with you, communication is key. Talk, 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 and talk some more. There will be a lot lost in translation if you don't talk, if you don't go back and talk. It is tiring. It is really tiring, especially if you have one person whose understanding of things is easier, or the person who speaks the better second or third language, or like, I mean, seriously, sometimes I dream in my native language. Sometimes I dream in French. People who speak multiple languages suffer a lot. And then, so you have to couple that with someone from a different culture. Are you ready to do that? You gotta have superpower. You gotta be willing to accept that that's the situation. That's that. So, like I say, communication and understanding in an age gap and cultural difference is very important. So you gotta have patience, and you gotta have a lot of understanding if you want to be successful. Personally, I've always been that open-minded person. I'm very open. I am inviting. I accept everyone. I will try a lot of things in this world. I'm respectful. That's it. It comes down to being respectful of other people's culture. Our age gap can kind of like add another layer of crazies into our relationship, because you already have differences, right? Movies, references, an era where I wasn't born, like when he was 16. What 16? 16 is what? Junior. That's when I was kind of like born, when he was a junior in high school. So any references to certain things back then, I wouldn't know. But thankfully, I am very well cultured. I love reading. I love just finding out things. So I know so many facts that a normal person wouldn't know, but I know because I put myself out there. So like I was saying, like movie references, and some comments, you know, we kind of can miss it, right? There are certain things, like I can definitely tell you, it doesn't matter how many times I try to coach Rocco on how to do certain things, especially when it comes to social media, when it comes to getting in depth with certain apps. We're not talking about your normal email, but Final Cut Pro, like all those editing tools, software that we use to just like make our lives better or easier. It's really hard. But also I find that Rocco's generation is a generation that kind of like sarcasm, and bullying wasn't as known as it's known now. We have progressed as a society. We're going by millimeter. We're going so slow. We are not growing as fast as we should be growing, but we have grown. We have evolved a little bit. I feel like in Rocco's kind of like generation, bullying was accepted. slapping people across the face was accepted, especially where Rocco is from. Like, you have your uncle who can kind of like come and hit you and stuff like that, and bullying, not accepting people that, you know, may identify themselves as the people that are marginalized in the society, and they might identify themselves as otherwise, as not the norm. Those people were kind of like led to live in the closet as a result of them not being accepted in the society. So Rocco is from that era, so you can already imagine how difficult it could be for someone like that to kind of like know the terminologies that I might know, because I am closer to that culture. So each time you can open up to train him and coach him to have a language that's more inclusive so that you don't disrespect anyone, it's really hard. And it's not even like because this person is trying to hurt somebody or refusing to be inclusive. It's just that it's not from his era, and plus we live in a country that the language is like not his first language, it's like a third language. The same for me, staff. But like I said, communication, understanding, and acceptance makes a world of difference. And so at the end of the day, it's about loving each other for and despite all differences. And it's also all about building something that's unique, that belongs only to us, right? Because this is a unique experience, it's a unique living situation. So my friend, if you are walking this unique experience, just know that you're not alone. And for a really long time, I felt alone. For a really long time, I just shut up about it. For a really long time, I didn't want to put myself out there, talk about this. But it's a situation that I'm in. I'm living it. I'm living in it. And because I'm living in it, I've accepted it, right? So because I've accepted it, I kind of wanted to share this with you, that it's not easy, but it's something that you can kind of make work. It's not for the weak, trust me. It's not. Communication already for people who speak the same language is difficult. It's difficult. So try now to speak with someone who does not speak your language. Try to communicate and try to understand each other through references that you might not understand. Sometimes you might think that you're being attacked. Sometimes someone might be joking and the joke comes off as an insult in your language. I can tell you something, right? Like we were naming Luana. There was a name that I really loved. It was a name that, seriously, it means, the meaning is beautiful in my language, but that name has a negative connotation in Rocco's culture. It's not even a name used in Italy, but if I were to name my daughter that name, people were just kind of like gonna be like, what? You know, kind of like, no, because it has a negative connotation. So I kind of had to say goodbye to my name. It's a name that I had kept for a really long time, but I had to wave goodbye to that name. I had to accept the fact. I needed to just be like, okay, if I want peace, I need to accept this. So if you're walking this path, you need to know that you're not alone, and every step is actually really worth it. You're growing, you're evolving. You're gonna understand that at the end of the day, nothing really matters. Communication is key, and if you have someone who really respects you and loves you for you, you will want to put in that effort to get along, to live in harmony. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh my god. So yeah, we've gotten to the end. I'd really love to hear about your experiences or any questions that you might have about navigating age and cultural differences. I'd love to hear about from you if you have this experience, or if you have anything to add about this subject. So drop your comments, your questions below, and let's keep this conversation going. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me and sharing in your journey. So if you liked our chat today, give me a big thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe down below. And remember, love is the ultimate adventure. I will catch you in the next video. So bye bye, and I hope you enjoyed your coffee. Until next time, bye.